Hi, I'm Liam Thompson, a 36-year-old guy. You know, the typical guy. A decent job, a few friends, and the hope of building a happy family. Little did I know the pages of my life were about to be rewritten, revealing a plot I never imagined. I met Ava at my friend's wedding. She caught my eye, looking beautiful and innocent at first glance. We quickly felt a connection, and after a few meetings, we found ourselves diving into the unpredictability of dating. You know, Ava, there's something about you that drew me in from the moment we met. Oh, really? What's that? Call it intuition or just plain luck, but there's a warmth in your eyes that feels like home. As our relationship blossomed, I thought I had found the missing piece to my puzzle. Ava seemed sweet, and for a while, life was a series of laughter and shared dreams. Little did I realize the plot was thickening beneath the surface. I remember when we were dating, Ava told me about her daughter after a few meetings. She made it clear that she loved her daughter the most, and if I dated her, I had to accept her daughter too. That made me think seriously about this relationship. I wasn't expecting this, but I liked her enough, so I decided to date her. Even though I wasn't very comfortable with the idea of my girlfriend already having a daughter, in general, I like kids and can easily be friends with them, so I didn't think it was a big deal. I met her daughter Ava for the first time. She was a well-behaved little girl. Ava introduced me to her. Liam, this is my Emmy. Emmy, say hi. Hi. Hey, Emmy, you're quite the charmer. You're my mom's new boyfriend? Yep, that's me. She was shy at first, but as we started getting to know each other, we became friends. As time went on, it became clear that Emmy had a medical condition, asthma. Ava was diligent about Emmy's health, taking her for regular checkups and always being attentive to her daughter's needs. At first, it seemed like Ava was the caring and loving mother she portrayed herself to be. Little did I know this was just a mask that would eventually fade away, revealing a harsh reality. After dating for a while, Ava and I decided to take the plunge and got married. Emmy and I got along well. Despite not sharing a typical father-daughter bond, Ava had been a good girlfriend, or at least that's what I thought until she started changing, or should I say, revealing her true colors. The signs were subtle at first, but they grew more apparent with each passing day. The once attentive mother started missing Emmy's medical appointments, and her warmth turned into an icy distance. The first sign that something wasn't right appeared when Ava started missing Emmy's medical appointments. One day I gave her a call. Ava, where are you? In the office, I had an important meeting. Can you take Emmy to Dr. Mitchell? Sorry, Liam. Sure, no problem. After that, I found myself taking Emmy to her doctor many times. Every time, Ava had a new excuse. She never attended Emmy's doctor appointments after that. Not only that, but she also started missing parent meetings at school. It became a pattern that I couldn't ignore, and I started to wonder what was really going on. Emmy started to share more time with me. We developed a routine, homework, bedtime, stories, and weekend adventures. She was opening up, feeling secure in the love I was giving her. It warmed my heart to see her smile, and I found joy in being there for her. The bond we shared grew stronger with each passing day. One evening after a school event that Ava missed, Emmy hugged me tightly. Liam, I'm glad you were there. Mom promised she'd come, but you never break your promises. I'll always be here for you, sweetheart. This connection between Emmy and me was becoming the anchor of our little family, a bond that Ava seemed oblivious to or chose to ignore. However, there were things I couldn't ignore. I noticed Ava being distant, often preoccupied with her phone. Every time I asked her about it, she claimed it was just a friend and hid her phone away. Ava, are you there? Oh yes, sweetie, what were you saying? You missed Emmy's performance today. You promised her. There was a last-minute meeting I couldn't avoid. Emmy was upset. I will make up for it, don't worry. After that, one day we were at our friend's place for brunch, and Ava went to the restroom. I went after her to bring her outside. She had put her phone on the bed and it kept buzzing with messages. I took the phone and saw incoming messages from a number I hadn't saved. But the messages that came looked like it was a two-way chat. Just as I was about to open it, Ava came and literally snatched the phone away. What are you doing? It kept buzzing. Were you about to read my messages? Was there something to hide? What? Do you want to see? Look! Never mind. I found her overprotective, which made me suspicious of her behavior, but I didn't want to create a scene, so I let it go. But there was something I felt was not right. That behavior stayed in my mind for a while. Until one night, her phone was buzzing again, and she went into the kitchen to make Emmy some late-night snacks. I saw one message and then another. It was the same number. and it became painfully clear that she was having an affair with that guy. Devastated, I still managed to control myself from confronting her right away. I wanted to know who this guy was. So I discreetly put her phone back and decided to bide my time, gathering more information before revealing what I had discovered. His last message was asking her to meet at their usual place, and if I wasn't wrong, it would be the same place where we met while dating. The next day, I was determined to find out more about that guy named Daniel. I wasn't wrong. Ava met him during her office time. I saw them, and after Ava left, I followed him to his house. After finding out about him, I was shocked. I stood outside of his house for a few minutes and one of his neighbors approached me. "Hey, are you here to take your money?" I was confused but decided to play along. "Yes." "He will pay you, don't worry. He always did that." "Always?" "Daniel always takes loans from people, but he manages to pay, so don't worry." "Ah, by the way, what does he do for a living?" "I see you are new here." "Yes." "He doesn't do anything." "Then his girlfriends pay his loans always." "Girlfriends?" "You can say girlfriends, but actually, come here." I get close to him a bit and he whispers, "Every time he makes a new girlfriend when he takes a new loan. If he's at his house this time, means he had a girl ready." I was stunned by his remark. Ready for what? To pay his loan. Oh. After learning from his neighbor about him, I felt less bad about me and more bad about Emmy because I made up my mind to divorce Ava. After talking to his neighbor to confirm his theory, I roamed around Daniel's neighborhood to find out more about him. And he was right. Daniel indeed used girls to pay his debts. Not only that, but people also knew about it, which was shocking for me. Some of the locals said that those girls knew, but they still gave their money to him because they blindly loved him. During this time, I made a conscious decision to play the role of a devoted husband and a caring stepfather. People around me, particularly Ava's friends, began to pick up on the changes in Ava's demeanor. They subtly dropped hints and shared observations, but my focus remained singular. I was patiently waiting for Ava to experience the consequences of her actions. Ava told me about Emmy's biological father and how they were never married, and he chose not to be a part of Emmy's life. They had made a settlement, and Ava assured me that Emmy and her biological father had no connection. While I never pushed Emmy to call me dad, I made sure she knew I was there for her, whether she wanted to share her thoughts and dreams or simply needed someone to rely on. Our connection was built on trust and care, not on any expectations. Months passed, and Ava's neglect towards Emmy escalated. Not only did she miss medical appointments, but she also distanced herself from our family activities. One evening, as I reached home, the atmosphere changed. I saw Ava packing her bags, and a sinking feeling settled in the pit of my stomach. I had been waiting for this moment, having befriended her colleagues to learn about her schedules to surprise her. "Are you going somewhere?" According to her colleague, she took leave to take care of her beloved daughter. Ava, hastily packing her belongings, replied without meeting my eyes, "Yes, I have to go on a business trip tomorrow morning." Seeing her lying so shamelessly, I still hoped for her to feel guilty at least once, but... "Do you know how many doctor appointments you've missed?" "I know, Liam, but I need you to understand that at least I am doing this for us, for Emmy's future." "For the future? What about the present?" "Liam, please, don't be like that. I know what you mean, but you see, I am also exhausted." I stood there speechless as Ava continued packing. The weight of unspoken words hung in the air. Exhausted and frustrated, I was mentally drained, deciding that there was no point in resistance, so I gave up. I left her space and went to bed. The unresolved tension lingered, and little did I know that this would be one of the many cracks that would eventually shatter our already fragile family. The next morning, as anticipated, Ava embarked on her purported 4-day business trip. It wasn't her absence that struck me, but the note she left behind. A mere formality in our unraveling relationship. Thanks to that note, I discovered her plan, and the realization hit me. She had been physically present but emotionally absent, a phantom haunting the halls of our home. In the morning, I gently woke up Emmy and reminded her to get ready for school. "Did you grab your lunch?" "Yeah, where's Mom?" "She's gone on a business trip for 4 days." "She didn't tell me about that." "Maybe she forgot. Come on, let's go. I'll drop you at school." Later that day, while I was engrossed in my office work, my phone rang. Glancing at the caller ID, I saw it was Emmy's school. I answered with a mix of curiosity and concern. "Hello? Hi, Mr. Thompson. It's Miss Batty, Emmy's teacher. Oh, hi, what's going on? Emmy fainted in class, and we tried reaching her mom, but she was unreachable. I'm on my way. I rushed to Emmy's school, anxiety knotting my stomach. The teacher, Miss Batty, met me with concern etched across her face. Hello, Mr. Thompson. Yes, Miss Batty, where's Emmy? She is here in the nurse's office. My heart skipped a beat. I thanked Miss Batty and hurried to Emmy's side. She looked pale and worry flickered in her innocent eyes. Emmy, sweetheart, are you okay? I don't know. I feel dizzy, and everything went blurry. Concern etched my face as I picked her up. The school nurse suggested we visit the doctor, and I agreed, realizing how dire the situation was. I called Ava, but as expected, no answer. I decided to take Emmy to Dr. Mitchell for a thorough examination, and after what Dr. Mitchell said left me shaken. Mr. Thompson, we need to talk, and I want Emmy's mom to be here. She's gone on a business trip and is unreachable for now. You can tell me what happened to her. Emmy was just fine and suddenly fainted. Her asthma is fine also, so what happened? Mr. Thompson, I am sorry to tell you this, but Emmy has a congenital heart disease, and she had a sudden cardiac arrest. What are you talking about? She's just 7. Mr. Thompson, we're keeping her under observation because it may occur again. She's a healthy child. She didn't show any symptoms before, did she? I think Emmy's congenital heart defect is genetic. There is a chance that her mom knew about this since birth. I was shocked because Ava never mentioned this to me, nor Emmy told me about this. I had no idea about that. I am so sorry, Mr. Thompson, but Emmy's condition is very critical, and it would be best if your wife would be here. Doctor, I need a moment. Of course. I stepped out of the doctor's office and took a walk to calm my mind. When I returned to Dr. Mitchell, Doctor, I think Emmy also doesn't know about her disease, and I cannot bear to break this to her. She's a very smart child, but I cannot do that. You have to do this, please. Okay, I understand. After hearing such devastating news, I immediately tried calling Ava, but her phone was out of reach. Dr. Mitchell talked to Emmy and informed her about her condition. Despite this critical moment and Emmy needing her mom the most, Ava wasn't answering her phone. According to the doctor, they couldn't do much, but it was decided to keep Emmy in the hospital for the best care, especially given her mom's unavailability. With no other contact information, I headed to Daniel's place to find his contact number. I saw that elderly neighbor once again. Hello, do you remember me? Oh yes, what brings you here? Daniel's not here. I know, do you have his number? I had it, but it's not in service anymore. Sorry, I don't have his number. Do you know anyone who might know his number? He pointed towards a board that refers to a company. Maybe his current girl. I think she works in that company. That was Ava's company. I think I know her. Thanks anyway. I went back home to find her travel details and found her hotel number, hoping to contact her, but she was busy traveling with her affair partner. I left a message that she should call me ASAP. As I anxiously waited for Ava's call, the hospital's number flashed on my phone. My heart raced as I answered the call, hoping for some positive news about Emmy's condition. Hello? Mr. Thompson, this is Nurse Reynolds from the hospital. We need you to come to the hospital as soon as possible. What happened? Is it Emmy? Yes, Mr. Thompson, Emmy's condition has worsened. Please, come to the hospital. I'm on my way. While driving to the hospital, I tried Ava's phone, but she didn't pick up. I reached the hospital where Emmy lay on the bed. The doctor administered a shot, stabilizing her heartbeat, but rendering her unconscious. I remained by her side for the rest of the day, taking leave from my office to stay at the hospital for the next 2 days. Despite numerous attempts, I couldn't reach Ava. She seemed elusive and absorbed in her own world while our daughter's condition worsened. Emmy's fragility became more apparent with each passing day. Did Mommy pick up the call? I want to talk to her. Me too, sweetheart. But maybe she'll call today. Don't worry. She'll be here soon. Liam, will I die? No, darling, no. You're going to get better soon. We're at the best hospital with the best care, and you will be suddenly. Her heartbeat stopped. Panic seized me, and I urgently called for the nurse. The medical team rushed in, their urgency matching the gravity of the situation. Dr. Mitchell appeared, and after an agonizing hour, she emerged from the room, her expression heavy with sorrow. Doctor, what happened? Mr. Thompson, we've done everything we could, but Emmy didn't make it. I'm so sorry. I stood there clutching the edge of Emmy's bed. My heart shattered into a million pieces. Emmy was gone, The room filled with an unbearable silence, broken only by the muffled sobs escaping from my trembling lips. I couldn't comprehend the reality of Emmy's absence. The weight of grief pressed down on me with a force that seemed impossible to bear. Amid my despair, I felt a vibration in my pocket. Pulling out my phone, I saw Ava's name on the screen. A stark contrast to the tragedy that had just unfolded. Ava's voice came through the phone, oblivious to the profound loss we had just suffered. "Liam, I just got your messages. What's happening? Is everything okay?" I stared at the phone. Anger, grief, mixing in a tumultuous storm within me. The words I had dreaded saying to her were now the painful truth. "Ava, you're too late. Emmy's gone. You abandoned your own daughter in her final moments." Ava's voice faltered on the other end, realization and regret seeping into her words. "Liam, what are you talking about?" "Ava, we lost Emmy." I couldn't stop myself, and the pain and relief flowed from my eyes. As Ava returned from her trip, worn out from the journey and oblivious to the impending tragedy, I waited for her at the hospital entrance, my exhaustion palpable. Her eyes darted around the sterile surroundings, desperately searching for any sign of Emmy. "Liam, where's Emmy? Is she okay?" Summoning every ounce of strength, I gestured toward the hospital staff. "Go." The hospital staff guided her towards the morgue, and I followed, a heavy knot tightening in my chest. Leading her into the cold, silent space that housed our worst nightmare, I struggled to find the words. "Why is Emmy here, Liam? Tell me. Why is she here?" The weight of the truth hung in the air as I uttered the words she never expected. "She's gone, Ava." Ava's cries echoed through the sterile walls, and I, unable to witness Emmy in that chilling place, stepped out, leaving the mother to grapple with the reality of her absence. After witnessing the lifeless body of her beloved daughter, Ava's grief morphed into frustration, and she sought a target for her pain. As I grappled with my own sorrow, Ava approached me, anger emanating from every fiber of her being. "Liam, what happened to my daughter? She was perfectly fine." In the midst of my grief, I couldn't bear her accusations. "Why didn't you tell me that she had a congenital heart disease?" I gently pulled her hands from my shoulders, locking eyes with her. "Go ask her doctor. He'll tell you." Reluctantly, Ava turned towards Dr. Mitchell and left, leaving me alone with the haunting reality of Emmy's absence. We decided to hold her funeral the next day. Upon hearing the tragic news, both mine and Ava's parents, along with some close family members, arrived at our home. Ava was in shock, blaming herself, while I, despite agreeing with her, decided not to confront her at that moment. Ava's mother embraced her, offering words of solace in the face of such a devastating loss. "I don't know how my sweetheart is gone." Her mother, visibly grieving as well, consoled her. The mourning was deep, and despite the turmoil Ava had brought into our lives, I couldn't help but empathize with her pain. She was still the woman I had loved once. The ceremony concluded and people began to disperse, leaving Ava and me alone by Emmy's resting place. The silence between us was heavy with unspoken words and the remnants of a shattered family. Ava finally broke the silence, her voice barely audible over the echoes of grief. "Liam, I never meant for this to happen. I never wanted to lose her." I looked at her, the pain in her eyes mirroring my own. The words I had held back for so long now demanded to be spoken. "Ava, we need to talk. There are things you don't know." Ava nodded, her expression with a mix of confusion and anticipation. We walked away from Emmy's grave, seeking a private space to unravel the tangled threads of our broken marriage. The weight of truth hung in the air, demanding acknowledgement. "Ava, I know about your affair. Let me finish. I could have forgiven you for that, but you went too far. I love you and try to do everything to make you happy. But what did you do? You abandoned your own daughter. You were so careless that you left her in my hands, never bothering to check on her." She started sobbing and said, "I was about to tell you this, but I think it's best if we go our separate ways from now on. I cannot forgive you for what you did to my trust, and I could never forgive you for leaving Emmy in that condition. One call, you could have made one call at least, but whatever reason you might have had would only be an excuse." I know it will sound like an excuse, but it was a mistake. I was with him, but the next day he ran away, taking the money that he wanted from me along with my belongings. I've already filed for divorce. I want to tell you that. I would appreciate it if you didn't drag it out unnecessarily. Please, Liam, I am sorry. I don't want to leave Emmy. I don't want to leave you. It's too late now, Ava. With those words hanging in the air, I moved on, resolute in my decision to navigate the aftermath of tragedy. Ava was left alone to face the consequences of her own choices. Her sorrow and solitary burden, the echoes of our shattered marriage, and the pain of losing Emmy fueled my determination to forge a future defined by healing and personal strength.